All right, great. Yeah, I'm excited about doing this. This is actually kind of a one in a series of events that we've done over the last couple of months all around the Meraki stack, our Cisco relationship. And today, really, we're going to focus a lot about what we're seeing and hearing back from customers as far as the value proposition. And we've got with us Amir and Jeff from Cisco. Meraki going to do a little bit deeper dive into some of the things they're seeing. So thank you. We're excited about doing this here today. I've got Alex on my team as well, is going to talk a little bit about some of the things that he's been seeing. So I want to kick it off a little bit here and kind of show you some of the stuff. You might not know CBTS, as much in depth. CBTS, we're about $1 billion a year entity. We're part of a publicly held group called CBB on the New York Stock Exchange. And a big section of CBTS's business is really delivering managed services to customers. And particularly we're known for delivering Cisco managed services, kind of Cisco as a service almost we're known as. And so we spend a lot of energy really investing in our knowledge base, our certifications to enable our ability for us to deliver a reliable and useful product to you as a customer. So this is kind of a slide just to let you know that we've been doing this for quite some time, and we're very heavily invested in kind of our certifications, our technical staff, our understanding of some of the technologies we're going to talk about today. Now, I mentioned the word Cisco as a service. And really, in a lot of ways in the past, if you wanted to buy Cisco solutions, right, you had to buy that equipment on your own. You bought it as CapEx, if you would. You had to figure out the professional services to deploy it. You had to keep track of licensing, things like that. And really what's happened for us here in the marketplace, particularly in kind of companies from, call it 25 employees to 5 or 10,000 employees, kind of that SMB and low enterprise area, is that everybody's wanting to start to consume those really kind of as a simpler solution, right? We're all moving to the cloud with a variety of different solutions, and that's all about delivering a simplified solution, delivering it reliably, giving you the kind of flexibility, the help with deploying it, these kinds of things. And so we've committed, quite robustly, if you would, very deep in delivering a number of services, kind of, again, what we call Cisco as a service. And it spans a variety of different kind of portfolios. We're very big in the UCaaS, Unified Communications as a Service, Contact Center as a Service. Have been doing that for some 15 years now. And so whether it's a location with one user or like we deliver 50,000 hosted Cisco phones a month to the state of Ohio, 15,000 to the state of Indiana, all the way from, large enterprise down to a single phone. So for those of you who are taking a look and kind of wanted to maybe revamp or move your voice services to the cloud, we can bring Cisco solutions to you there. Now, we've also then expanded into what we call kind of cloud networking. You see that there, and that's going to be around a lot what we're talking about with the Meraki stack today. Really, sometimes I almost call it cloud orchestration of your LAN infrastructure. And you're going to see some pretty interesting things today about, what if you had a single pane of glass and a robust set of APIs and analytics to control your firewall, your SD-WAN edge, your Ethernet switch, access points, cameras. Meraki's even got some new IoT sensors that are about temperature and door closes, these kinds of things that can link back to their camera. So I think you're going to see some very interesting things today about that kind of value proposition of both on the security and the cloud networking side. If you may or may not be aware, but WebEx has really changed a lot in the last 6 months. You've seen kind of the Microsoft Teams juggernaut really take off, and that's about that desktop client really that allows you, all your instant messaging and presence and file share and teaming space, and even the links into your UCaaS environment. And WebEx has really responded to the marketplace. And so for those of you that are out there possibly looking at a new UCaaS solution or taking a look at how it might integrate with Teams, or maybe you'd like a replacement or augment some things in Microsoft Teams, there's some very interesting things on the WebEx collaboration side we'd love to share with you. I kind of list wireless down there separately, even though wireless is part of that Meraki stack. CBTS has been an expert in the wireless game for quite some time. And so whether you're again talking about one AP or you're trying to figure out a campus or a warehouse environment and you're trying to get some heat maps, how many APs do I need? How many radios? Do I need the newest version of 6? These kinds of things. We've got a very robust practice on the wireless side that we can help you with there. And then really even to SmartNet. For those of you who own existing Cisco equipment, right? Although we're all kind of moving to other new cloud services, there still is quite a bit of, legacy, LAN or legacy switching infrastructure, routing infrastructure that you still need to maintain on your SmartNet for a number of years, and we can help you with that. And kind of the last part of this I want to talk about is our SD-WAN practice. We've really turned in, I'm very proud of our SD-WAN practice. We've really kind of turned into an industry leader in that we've got a multi-platform practice where really that platform is VMware's VeloCloud offering, Cisco Meraki, and also Cisco Viptela. In fact, we were just last year, we're the last partner of the year for VeloCloud. So we've got some 500 locations and 5,000 installations that we've brought to bear on the VeloCloud side. But also, like on the Meraki side, Meraki's got a very robust SD-WAN kind of architecture as well, and we've got over 5,000 locations with that kind of the SD-WAN edge. So really what I wanted to show you here till I kind of turn it over to the rest of the team was, one, thank you for letting us come in and show you some things around the Meraki stack, and I'm excited about Amir and Jeff doing that. But I want to let you know that we're very committed to the Cisco practice and really have done a lot of interesting work, we believe, in the last 5 to 10 years of turning Cisco solutions into a utility for you to kind of give you the flexibility, simplicity to be able to deploy those things. We take care of those management, that 24/7, the 100% parts and labor warranty, those kinds of things. So the other thing we wanted to share with you before we turn over to Amir and Jeff, Alex Broom is on my team. Alex joined me just about, I'll call about 18 months ago or so now. Alex actually was one of our lead technicians to develop this Meraki stack to help take that technology and turn it into a service. And so Alex has literally, been out there in our most kind of difficult or our biggest deployments. Like we have the Meraki stack, there's a nationwide food chain that we have 1,500 locations of a Meraki edge device, Meraki Ethernet switches, access points, and Cisco phones. We deliver that all to them as one solution. So I'd ask Alex if he could to kind of pull together some thoughts on what he's seen there in the marketplace of the value proposition of kind of how we deliver it. What's different? You can buy that Meraki stack anywhere, right? If you want to deploy it yourself, let's say, but what's the value proposition of doing that with CBTS and do it as a service? So Alex, if you could kind of share some of the thoughts that, some of the observations or thoughts you've seen as we deploy that.
Thanks, Matt. And to all the IT leaders on the call today, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for your time. I know it's extremely valuable, especially here Thursday afternoon. So I want to start off just by kind of, giving you, as Matt did, kind of a brief mention of why CBTS. So first and foremost, we believe 100% in putting the customer first. That's everything that we do, all of the services that we're going to talk about, our extension into the Cisco partnership with Jeff and Amir. It's all about providing a white glove experience. This is a fully managed service. We're totally committed to partnering with our customers. We're not a telco. You don't just call us up and complain when you have problems. We're here. We're invested in your technology stack. We're invested in your business outcomes. And it really starts from, first meetings like this. I am on Matt's team. I'm a sales engineer, formerly a solution architect. And that's what CBTS is known for, right? Getting engineers engaged from the beginning, working with our clients, partnering with them, and understanding their needs. What is the strategic growth model of your IT plan over the next few years? How do we align that with what you need? What's aging? What needs to be replaced? What technologies are a good fit to move you in the next direction? That's one piece. That's the technology piece. But the services piece comes along with, getting your folks refocused, putting them in a position where they can focus on those strategic outcomes instead of just keeping the lights on. And so really all the services that Matt talked about, from phones to networking, SD-WAN, they're designed to deliver an outcome-based network or an outcome-based phone system or an outcome-based SD-WAN. That's the whole purpose of these services. It's to enable your organization to refocus, plan for the future, and deliver real business results that are important to the rest of your organization. And specifically around Meraki, why network as a service? Well, there's a few key points. Yes, you can go out and buy Meraki. You can install it yourself. It's a very robust technology. It's very user-friendly. It's an absolutely fantastic product. But what goes along with that is maintenance, upkeep, relicensing the devices when they expire. The CBTS model, one, there's no capital outlay. Everything is delivered as an OpEx, a monthly, very predictable charge. Everything is included. Everything from professional installation, all the design and configuration, project management, ongoing repair, moves, adds, and changes, all the licensing, all the boxes, everything. The box fails, we send a tech out and we replace it. When you go to renew your contract and you want to upgrade, we send new boxes out and replace them. Let's say you add a new location, right? If you're a large retail chain with thousands of locations, you're going to have churn. You're going to have to turn down sites and bring new sites online. All those are handled inside of the term. So there's no renegotiating terms or extending terms or paying downturn fees. We can include a very flexible solution. And lastly, I'll just mention that we have amazing people in support. They provide great support to our customers. They are why we're here, along with our wonderful customers, of course. And they do 24/7, 365, tier 1 through 4, handle all the cases with the vendors, Cisco and others. And they're all based here out of the Midwest, most of them right here in Cincinnati, Ohio. And I guess the last thing I should have said before, this is the last thing. The last thing I'll mention is that, again, we're partnering with our customers. We really believe that in order to provide the best solution, it's not about wresting control away from the IT organization. It's about sharing access, providing co-admin access to your engineers and to your analysts, and partnering together to provide the best possible solution to your users. With that, I'll hand it back over to Matt. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Alex. In fact, I wanted to add a couple things. You highlighted talking about focusing on business outcomes. And that's a big thing, right, of delivering something as a service to you as a customer. I mentioned that large deployment we did with 1,500 sites. We walked in the door and the customer was pretty sure they were going to go with Meraki, and they kind of looked at us and said, "Why do I need you?" And we said, and our response back, the salesperson's response back was, "Are you going to deploy 1,500 sites on your own in the next 2 years?" That was their goal. And they're like, "Oh, that's going to be a challenge." So one, we're there to kind of partner, to be able to be flexible, to be able to be reliable, to deliver those. And then Alex talked about really the ability to tailor a contract for your kind of upturns and downturns. When you own equipment, right, and you own licensing, some of it may be coming out of license, this year, some next year, et cetera. You've got a lot of things you got to manage. Well, we're very flexible, and we're talking about multi-location to be able to allow you to, maybe one location today has 100 employees and we've sized it a certain way, and you buy a company and you need to add some new services. We're going to come in and add those services or upgrade those devices, but it's all going to be coterminous with that original agreement. We've had other customers who, their business, they knew that they turned down 3 locations every quarter, and they added 3 new locations because their business kind of moved around. Well, it was very easy for us to accommodate those things. So again, this idea of being able to come in and understand your business needs, what are the business outcomes you're looking for, be able to deliver the technology required, because you've got to have the right widgets, but then be able to deploy and design it and make it flexible and responsive to your business needs. So yeah, thanks, Alex. I appreciate that. Amir, I think we're kind of going to maybe turn it over to you to go through a little bit and share with some of the things that you've been seeing from the customer base out there. Is that correct?
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much, Matt. Let me go ahead here and share my screen.
Let me add real quick to the group here. Feel free to send us any kind of questions. I've got a question that just came in that I'll probably pop up to you here in a minute, Amir. But yeah, go ahead and yeah, I want everybody to know that you can send us any questions you want. And Amir, it's all yours.
Excellent.
Maybe.
Are you guys seeing my screen okay?
Yep.
Beautiful.
Oh, now we're seeing your
All
notes
right.
now. We're actually seeing your notes and not in full screen.
Okay, just 1 second here. My apologies, guys.
You probably got like 6 monitors in front of you.
Yeah. All right. Is that better? Perfect.
Yes, perfect.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Matt, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And before we kick things off, I just want to reiterate one thing that both Matt and Alex did mention, is the partnership between Cisco and Meraki is really a phenomenal partnership, and we are truly blessed to work with a service provider and a managed service provider like CBTS. I cover 26 different accounts within Cisco in the service provider space. And I have to say, CBTS is absolutely one of those organizations that is the most accredited, has the most certifications when it comes to Cisco technology, and really has embedded many of the Cisco core philosophies. And a few of those, for example, are putting the customer first. And that is a true backbone attribute to Cisco as well as Meraki, as well as driving business outcomes. I mean, that's really important. In a day in the world that we live in today, I think driving true business outcomes for your organization are critical. And then the other last two that I think are very, very important is flexibility. Especially in today's economy, in today's market, things are changing so quickly, whether you're scaling up very, very fast, or you may be consolidating, or you may have to become a more remote organization. And having that level of flexibility that CBTS and Cisco truly embody, I think, is an absolute solution that is great for the customer. And then last but not least is simplicity. I think in the marketplace, what we're continuing to see is this motto that customers want a single hand to shake, a single back to pat, and a single throat to choke. So having one vendor that you can truly rely on to provide you with true business outcomes, and that when an issue arises, you can pick up the phone, you can make that single phone call, and you truly can rely on an expert to solve all of your IT and infrastructure needs, which again is extremely, extremely powerful. With that, I want to kind of hop in and kind of tell you guys a little bit about why Cisco Meraki and why this is really an important technology, as well as it being, again, an awesome, phenomenal managed service that CBTS has to offer. First, where are we going? I think smart workspaces is truly what is driving our innovation at Meraki. And as times continue to change, and what we continue to see is that technology is driving and changing. We have to be very flexible as far as what we're seeing in the economy today. So the days of your access point, your cameras, whatever device that you have from an IT technology within your workspace should be doing much more for you than just providing connectivity. And I'm not going to go through each and one of these, but you can see here that our Wi-Fi solution is not only providing great secure Wi-Fi, but it's a way of doing asset tracking. It's a way of wayfinding. Our cameras are no longer just cameras there to capture footage. It's actually counting people. It's providing motion alerts. It's doing object detection. It's intelligent enough to tell you if that person passing by that camera is a human or a dog, or a woman with a really large purse. So really, some really, really cool things. I think the other piece that we're also seeing in smart workspaces is the ability to work remote. Many organizations had to quickly be able to adopt and change to the needs of the environment that we live in. And again, it's a big, big focus, not only for Cisco, but as well as for CBTS to provide great remote worker solutions. So the days of technology are definitely changing quickly, and we continue to provide great innovation and ultimately are providing smart workplaces for the future.
Amir, we had a quick question. Go back to that slide if you would. We had a question about are there any particular verticals that you see where this kind of comprehensive approach works better, or what's been your experience in particular verticals that you've had a lot of success with?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And I will tell you, we have customers in every vertical across the board, and we can definitely find a way, whether you're a small organization or a large organization, to provide a true business outcome and a business solution for you. But some verticals where we've seen great success are retail, hospitality, the financial, manufacturing sectors. But those have been just a few verticals that I would say we have, again, great success with. But as I mentioned earlier, every vertical has found a phenomenal use in using Meraki and CBTS as managed service technology.
We've had some, I think we've had some of the same experience. It's been very strong for us in retail. We've seen manufacturing as well. And I see more and more multi-location companies who are really trying to figure out, how do I build a branch in a box? Whether that branch is 5 users or 500, they want a repeatable infrastructure, right? With a single pane of glass and the viewing all those things. And so I've had that same question of, is there a particular vertical? And, I'll respond very similar to the way you did, but it's really more about, is that IT manager, that CIO, CTO really looking for kind of a simplified yet capable, repeatable branch or office in a box that seems to really resonate with this kind of technology? So.
Absolutely. Excellent. I think there's a couple key attributes that I truly want to highlight here in around having a single pane of glass and also having a managed service. And I think one of the most important things, and I ask this to every customer, regardless of your size, are your priorities aligned to your network? And what I mean by that is having visibility into what is actually consuming your bandwidth and what is happening within your network is critical. You can see here, this is a true screenshot of the Meraki dashboard and what exactly you would see on your end, but what applications are consuming your connectivity? Is a top application in your network YouTube? Is that stopping your VoIP phones from working and ringing and taking phone calls for customers? We can quickly identify that. We can quickly containerize that and say, hey, we want to shut that application down. I want to control the certain amount of bandwidth that that certain application has to really ensure that your employees are, again, driving and the network is being used in the most appropriate way to align with your priorities and the expectations that you provide for your customers. Another big thing that we see is wireless. I can't tell you how many organizations today are connected via 100% wirelessly. And if the operation or the wireless operation is to shut down, that entire business goes to a standstill. I don't care if you're a small pizza shop, if you're a big organization with hundreds or potentially thousands of people in an office, if wireless goes down, it could cost you tens of thousands or potentially even hundreds of thousands of dollars per hour when wireless is shut down. And within the Meraki dashboard and what CBTS's team has access to really ensure that your uptime and the reliability of your network is always running is to be able to take a look what we call here a wireless health assessment. So in seconds, they are able to actually log into the dashboard. They can see exactly what is going on. Is this an actual client issue or is this an actual network problem? And you can see down below here all the different types of issues that we're seeing. Was it a mistyped password? Was it a user and password combination issue, why that individual or that client couldn't authenticate into the network? Or do we have a larger issue where it's an actual network problem? So again, this level of visibility is super powerful, especially in the day and age of wireless being so critical to our operations, our customer experiences, and obviously the productivity of our employees.
And Amir, sorry to interrupt you again, but we had another question about Wi-Fi, and that this question wanted to know, can you do different security profiles? Particularly, they're asking about a guest Wi-Fi network as compared to my employee network.
Absolutely, that's a great question. So yes, we can segregate your guest Wi-Fi compared to your employee Wi-Fi. We can also set certain parameters and restrictions on what can be accessed on the guest Wi-Fi, as well as on the employee Wi-Fi. And we can even get further granular than that. If we have a marketing team that needs access to Facebook and all other social media platforms, but the rest of the organization should not access those, we can definitely break this down per group, per employee subset, per device type, et cetera. So you do have a lot of granularity on giving certain permissions and certain access to different users, as well as your guests, as well as your internal employees.
Cool, thank you.
Absolutely. And that leads us to another great piece about Meraki, and I think overall is when I talked earlier about smart spaces and the days of our wireless access point not adding just great connectivity, but much more than that. And what you're seeing here is exactly what you would see in the Meraki dashboard. This is our wireless access point. And what the wireless access point is showing here is very important information. It is showing the number of people who have walked by your access point. It shows the number of people who've actually visited, how many have connected, how long are they connected for. Now, again, you may think, how is this important to me? Well, if I'm a restaurant and I have customers coming in and they're only staying for 5 to 20 minutes, that might mean that there's a problem. They're not staying for dessert, which is a very, very profitable part of the meal that I want my customers to enjoy. If I have a bar or I have a restaurant and I have people sitting at the bar for 6+ hours, I have a problem. Maybe we need to put a sign for Alcoholics Anonymous on the wall or something, right? We need to see what's going on. So this data is very, very important, can give you a great insight exactly what's occurring, how long are people connecting. And I think another thing that's very important is, are you attracting new customers? The API and what you see in the dashboard, he will tell you, are these occasional visitors? Are they weekly? Are they daily? And are they first time? And even how often are people coming back? So you can better understand your repeat customer basis, et cetera. You can also compare different locations. So if you take a look here, we're comparing our San Francisco location to Sydney. So I can take a look and see, what does the foot traffic look like? Is there a reason why this location has similar foot traffic, but yet less people are engaging or less people are returning? So there's some very, very valuable marketing analytics and data that come with our technology that can really help you drive better decisions and better outcomes.
Now, is this information right here? I should know this, and I don't. Is this native into the Meraki interface, or is this part of another third party?
Yes, great question, Matt. This is directly native into the Meraki dashboard.
Okay,
So
I thought so, but I just want to make sure, yeah.
Yep, you just need an access point and access to the Meraki dashboard, and all this information is accessible to you.
Okay.
Perfect. The other piece that's really big is security. And security nowadays is something that I think even post-COVID, what we're seeing is the need for cybersecurity, the need for security is going to increase tremendously. And one thing that Cisco, as well as CBTS, offer is a great, phenomenal way to containerize and have a phenomenal solution for security. Within the Meraki dashboard, within a few clicks, you will be able to get a comprehensive overview of your security report. What potential breaches or threats are affecting my network? What has been containerized? What has been blocked? And you can check that for the last day, the last hour, the last week, the last month. You can also even set, you want this to automatically download or to print. You want to do this again every few weeks, every month, but you can actually pull a complete security report to ensure how your network's performing, where these threats are coming from, but really give you some true visibility on how security is being managed and what potential threats are hitting your network.
Hey, Mir, can you give us? Oh, sorry, it looks like you're going to get to it. So I was just going to ask if you could give us kind of a breakdown of the scale of what security means inside of Meraki.
Yeah, absolutely. So security is something we take dear near to our hearts here at Cisco, and every piece of our equipment entails security in it. And I think the biggest piece that I want to reiterate here is the engine that powers Cisco and powers Meraki, as well as CBTS's offering, is Cisco Talus. And Cisco Talus has many different arms that have direct integration into Meraki. All of what you see here, except Cisco Umbrella, are offered in the advanced security license that CBTS offers. And with this, what you have is absolutely the best of the best when it comes to security. And what I mean by that, Cisco has 250 full-time threat researchers and data scientists focused around Cisco Talus. We analyze 1.5 million unique malware samples daily, and we block 20 billion threats daily. This is 20 times more than any other vendor on the planet. So Cisco truly is leading the largest non-government threat intelligence organization on the planet. So in short, we know where the bad guys are, we know how to containerize them, and we know how to ensure that your network stays safe and, again, away from any potential threats or potential security breaches that can breach your network.
And I want to add something a little bit to you here, is that what we've seen in the last year as this kind of COVID threat has happened, everybody's going and working from home, more and more people are. We're getting, and at the same time, people are looking at transforming their wide area networks, talking about putting kind of SD-WAN technologies at the edge. This conversation of security at the edge, security in the cloud, let's say with Umbrella, if you need that in traveling, security from work from home, as far as security from endpoint protection as well. Those are the conversations that we'd love to bring our subject matter experts in to help you with if you need to address some of these things. So it's great to have Cisco behind us, and then we as a practice have quite a few folks we can bring to bear to help analyze your security needs and go a little deeper. So
that leads us next into some of our third-party integrations, and I want to talk a lot about this because this seems to be a very, very exciting thing for many of our customers, as well as how we are truly driving business outcomes using APIs, I think is really, really important. And with that, I'm just going to share several of the different APIs and third-party integrations that we utilize in the Meraki camera, which we like to call our optical sensors. And if you have any further questions or want to take a deep dive into any of these particular use cases or technology, definitely reach out to CBTS and they'll be more than happy to assist you and give you more information about that. But let's talk about APIs and third-party integrators. And I talked again earlier about smart spaces, and you're going to keep hearing me say this because I think it's very important to understand. Most businesses and almost every business has a physical security camera. What does that physical security camera do for you today? In most cases, it's just a camera on the wall, it's recording footage, and the only time you actually see a benefit or a value from that camera is when an incident actually recurs, but yet it may be very cumbersome to go ahead and look for footage or extract footage when an incident occurs. But I just want to share with you what our optical sensor and cameras can do and how they are helping provide better business outcomes. First and foremost, this is a third-party integration company called EveryAngle. There is no additional hardware needed other than a Meraki camera, and then you would work with CBTS to assist you with this API integration. But what we're able to do here, if you see the picture in the middle to the right of the slide here, we are actually able to have this camera work as a detection device to grant access to a facility or to a building. So you can see here, this particular individual is not wearing a hard hat. He's trying to gain access to this building, and his access is denied. Once he has the hard hat on, as well as all the other safety attire, he is granted access into the building. This is something that's very, very powerful. And what we are also seeing with this is how people are responding to COVID. COVID hit, and many organizations till today are still scrambling on how do I bring employees back to the office safely and securely? How do we control customer traffic in our retail establishment or in our restaurant? And with the Meraki cameras, what we're also able to do is they actually do detection of face masks. You can see here to the far right, we have a red icon. This person does not have a mask covering their face. You can also see the same thing here in the middle. And we can actually have this trigger a notification to whoever that individual may be within the organization that someone is not abiding by the rule or policy. You can see in the far right, this particular individual is wearing a face mask. He gets the green box around him. No issues arise. And again, there's no detection or any issues needed. What we're also able to do is not only detect face masks, but we can even get even more granular and really provide even additional value add. So here you can see to the far left, I have someone entering the business with a helmet on. This is very unusual. And this should be something that sparks some interest or some further desire to investigate what exactly is going on. So I can see here, hey, this person entered, I can see his helmet, I can see his shoes, and I can say, hey, anyone with a helmet who comes in or an object that looks foreign, I want to be notified. If you go to the middle, we can see here that the camera has identified a baseball bat or an object in this individual's hand. This is obviously a very, very high concern. But we have third-party integrators that are able to read and identify what kind of potential objects people are holding as they enter the business or the establishment. For example, if we're a school and someone came in with an object that looked like a gun, we can immediately have notification for the school to go on lockdown. We have integration with additional Cisco technologies like WebEx Teams, where we can create a Teams room. We can notify all the teacher and staff and personnel that a lockdown has occurred. And we can also communicate with them and provide them with exit paths and strategies on how to vacate the building very safely and securely, all without having to do a single thing. This would all be API driven. And once this is picked up, the authorities are notified, as well as an exit strategy is immediately put in play to ensure everyone's safety. In addition to that, we can also see a person came into the organization here with a mask on. This is very scary, right? It could be someone coming to rob the business, someone up to things they shouldn't be up to. But again, this just gives you the level of intelligence and the level of analytics that the camera is able to provide, again, great outcomes for your organization. And it doesn't stop there. That's just a few examples of what we're able to do from the camera and what the camera is able visually to tell you. But this is, again, some other very, very important data that I think is also something that you should consider. When you look at, again, what this camera is able to do, it's able to read the number of entrances by the hour, by the day, by the week, and by the month. And we have so many use cases where this is extremely valuable, and I want to just share a few with you. We have a bakery, a single location bakery, kind of like a mom and pop organization, and they were unsure of when they should actually open their bakery. And what they did is they took a Meraki camera, they pointed it at the front door, and for a week's time, they counted the number of customers who visited the bakery prior to its opening. And in just a week's time alone, they noticed that there was 18 customers on average coming to the business prior to opening. And once they were able to see those analytics and that data, they decided that, hey, we should be opening up an hour earlier as we're missing 18 prospective customers that are visiting during our closed hours. In addition to that, the camera also has the ability to read your entry emotion. And you may be wondering, why is my entry emotion important? Well, if I'm a restaurant, wouldn't I want to know how my customers' reactions are when they enter? If it's a busy peak time, are customers, again, disgruntled and walk out? Does the restaurant maybe smell funny and people are giving a weird look when they walk in? And many organizations are using entry emotions to control customers' behaviors and customers' experiences. A prime example of that is a big cosmetic company. I can't share the name, but what they would like to do is really understand how customers' behaviors and emotions change during peak hours. And what they notice is that when customers enter the business during peak hours, they typically walk out when they see that the front counter is busy. And how they combated this is they hired a hostess at the front door during these peak hours to greet and help navigate customers throughout their store. And what they did notice is that the emotions of these particular customers changed. They did not have such a high amount of churn, and were able to truly drive a great business outcome by having this level of insight and being able to read the entry emotions of these customers. In addition to that, we also break down the gender. What percentage of your customer base is male and female? Are you marketing to the right segment via the age? Are they, again, younger? Are they millennials? Are they elder, etc.? So getting this level of insight is extremely, extremely powerful for you to better understand your customer base, better control how you operate your business, whether that's opening at a certain time or even controlling employees. Maybe we realize after a week or two, you're not busy in the morning and you need one employee as opposed to two, and you can kind of change your hours and your operational expenses based upon the data that you now have to help you drive better decisions.
Amir, I do have a question, maybe kind of going back to kind of controlling employees here. I think it came in. I think this question is about, can you take a look and let's say I've got a camera on a back door. Can you count how many times that back door is opened and then even send a picture of what happened, like who's in that picture when it's opened or closed?
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. So what we can do is we have a new line of IoT sensors, and we can put an IoT sensor on that back door. And to that point exactly, every time that actual door opens, we can actually program the camera to take a picture of whoever that person is who opened the door. And we can actually have a text message and email sent to whoever wants to receive that particular information, whether it's a security guard or a store manager, to let them know who has entered or who has vacated the premises.
I thought you could do it too. Didn't you show me one time where I can take say a pixel, the pixels might be the door handle, and anytime that door handle moves as well?
Yes, you absolutely can. So we can go ahead and take pixels, and we can actually set here things for motion search, and we can also even set notifications. So that's another great thing that you have in the Meraki dashboard. So for example, if I have a business where, let's say, I want to ensure that my customers get a phenomenal experience, you can set the camera to where the camera counts the number of people coming in. And let's say, for example, when 50 people get into the business, I want a notification to go to the manager to open up more checkout lines.
Okay.
The minute the camera counts 50 people, it will send a text message directly to that store manager and say, hey, you have 50 people in the business, please open up another check stand. So we can be very, very proactive to ensure that we are, again, catering to our customers, catering to incidents that happen within the organization, or even just tracking how a door is opening and how frequently it's opening and when it's opening to ensure, again, that all your security parameters are in place.
That's great. Thank you.
Absolutely. And then last but not least, I want to kind of showcase another one of these third-party integrators, which is VApp. And for those of you in the retail segment, this is just a phenomenal amount of information. So like we showed before, you can count people, you can get, again, the motion entry of that person's emotions, but what you can also get is dwell time. So we're taking a look here at the store. How much time is this person standing in front of the t-shirt section? How much time are they standing in front of the vitamin section, right? And how are they moving and how are they flowing through my store? Very, very important. Are people walking to the back of the store? Why are they attracted to a certain area? If I change the actual, interior vamping of the store, how has that altered the foot traffic and the way that people are moving through this location? So very, very important. We can also even get the device types. If you take a look in the bottom right-hand corner, I can tell you the number of people who are using an Android device or an Apple device. And if I was heavily invested in Apple advertisements for my business, I may want to consider switching over to Android because the majority of my customers are on the Android platform as opposed to Apple. So again, just another additional insight here that I think is very, very powerful that can truly help you drive better outcomes and better engagement with your customers. With that, I think the Net Promoter Score is something that Meraki is truly very, very happy of. And if you take a look here, our Net Promoter Score, for those of you who don't know what the NPS score, this is your customers advocating about your technology, about your platform, and really the value that you bring with your solution. And if you can see here, Meraki is ranked as the highest NPS score amongst many of the other organizations that are out there today. It's something that we are very, very happy and proud of. Our customers are advocating on our behalf and are truly finding a phenomenal value add and a phenomenal solution with Meraki and with CBTS. And last but not least, as I mentioned, as Matt mentioned, and as Alex mentioned, every organization is a prime candidate for Meraki and CBTS. And you can see on this slide here, this is no way a resemblance of just the customers that we deal with, but these are customers who have put their faith in Meraki in CBTS to truly help drive some great business outcomes. As I mentioned before, we talk about the different verticals, we talk about the different customer segments, but I truly encourage each and every organization to reach out to CBTS, have a deeper conversation around your network and how CBTS and Meraki can truly drive better solutions and better outcomes for your organization. And with that, Matt, I will pass it back to you to close us out.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. That's great stuff, Amir. I think some of the things that came across for me, Amir spent some time in the end there talking about the API, and that's really about this cloud orchestration layer, right, that can see every single Meraki device, whether it's a switch in England or an access point in Australia. And that API then can be really connected to third parties to provide a lot of these ancillary services, like you saw with Every Angle. We're seeing folks like Skyfi and Purple who have helped companies write applications at the moment I come into a location, and I know that's been a customer, this many times. I pass them a different coupon in the application, these kinds of things. So that API can be very powerful. But also the Meraki interface itself, really, as I kind of asked that question of, was that information coming directly out of the Meraki interface or with a third-party API? One of the things we would love to do is get with you and show you really a demo of that entire kind of single pane of glass and the wealth of information and control you can get from whether you're talking about that SD-WAN edge, that SD-WAN and UTM security stack edge, whether it's an Ethernet switch, the APs, cameras, etc. So, and the last thing, we did have a question here at the end again that kind of was around, well, really though, why can't I just buy it and deploy it myself? And I think it really comes down to 5 things, if you would. Is that really when we engage with a customer, we're kind of bringing 5 key things. One, we're bringing consulting, right? We want to meet with you and understand your business outcomes. What are you trying to get? Do we have the right technology that's going to fit? And sometimes we don't. We'll be the first to say, hey, it fits or it doesn't fit. Once we determine, yeah, we think we can get your business outcomes and deliver that solution, then we're going to do the design work, right? We bring our subject matter experts together working with yours, and we build what we call a network design document, kind of the Bible for that install. Everything that we're talking about here comes with on-site deployment. It's our smart hands on the street installing that, doing those migrations. Everything comes with a full day 2, tier 1 through tier 4 support. And Alex mentioned we support co-management. Even though we're there we'll take care of everything for you, or maybe your people want to do certain parts, or they want to do everything from 8 to 6, and we'll take care over there. Everything we do here is talks about co-management, yet a full support as well. And really then all of that wrapped together is to try and deliver to you the flexibility and the responsiveness that you need to free your IT staff up to do more strategic work. We're here to deliver those solutions while your IT staff can focus on new things. So thank you very much for allowing us to share some of this with you today. We hope it's been useful. We've got a recording here that we can send out to you of the whole thing. So again, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again with another webcast. Thanks, Gabby.